So I've known Rahul Singh for more than 25 years. I saw him very recently, a few days ago, and he hasn't changed much. His mustache is still very well groomed, all hair on his head and his plates, and maybe it's a little bit more silver. Most important of all, Rahul Singh is the same. His attitude hasn't changed. He speaks only when he has something to say. Not like a lot of people I know actually. So a very very sharp and hardworking guy. This guy was the top of his class both in IIT Bombay and IIM Lucknow. And he's the archetype of the guy your mother, your aunt, or even you wish to marry when you were younger. So Rahul and I studied engineering together, or if I'm more accurate, I was in the same batch as him when he was studying engineering. I would be with a bunch of people who would go to his hostel room one day before the exam, one night before, that's just at around 10 o'clock at night before the exam. We would be all disheveled in not so clean shorts and t-shirts, ready to work overnight, and he would be getting ready to sleep at 10, dressed in immaculately pressed pajamas. And he would just say, make sure that by 6 o'clock you slip the notes back under my room door so that I can just have a last look at them. So the story I want to tell you about happened nearly 20 years ago. Both of us were colleagues at CRISIL, that's a credit rating agency. And the two of us had been invited by Standard & Poor's, which was an investor in CRISIL, for a 6 months assignment. Standard & Poor's or S&P had a spurt of work and at $50 an hour, the two of us were great, a kind of temporary solution for that spurt of work. This was the beginning of the outsourcing. We were kind of pioneers for that. We were the people who a lot of others followed afterward. Our company, CRISIL, hoped that over a period of time, it would be able to get a lot of outsourced work from S&P. So naturally, they selected Rahul Singh as one of the two people for the job, as they felt that he would make a great ambassador for the company. I assume that they selected me for my good looks. So there we were in New York on a first day in office. Not much work to do. Promptly at 12:30, we go to the company cafeteria. We found out there was a company cafeteria, and we came from a culture where company canteens served food that was much cheaper than the restaurants outside, and we had like a lot of hopes and dreams for our $50 a day. We were going to save a lot of it and have a real big holiday after the 6 months assignment was over. So we reached there. The system in cafeteria was that you selected the food that you wanted, paid for it, and then you found an empty table and sat on it and ate the food. We got into the queue to select the food, and we realized that we had a problem. So none of the food displayed or written on the menu or displayed on the trays outside was familiar to us. I remember this was nearly 2 decades ago. So at that time you could get pasta in maybe 1 or 2 5-star hotels. This is like really long time ago. This was before Subway was in India. This was when Mumbai was actually Bombay. So this is as far back as that. So the two of us had a furious discussion. But we could not figure out what are meatballs. Yeah? We don't know what meatballs are. What is fettuccine? What is fettuccine? We didn't even know that. And their display said something like eggplant and okra. It was much later we realized that they were just exotic American names for brinjal and ladies' fingers. Like it was, after some time you realize elevators are actually lifts. Much more simple. And we are discussing, and this Inox, a very definitely moving line, brings me face to face with the server before I had a chance to figure out what I'm going to do. The server is a middle-aged black man with dreadlocks. He looks at me, and I said in what I later found was a Jamaican accent. He says, "How can I help you, sir?" Nick of time I had the solution. I said, "Sandwich. I'm going to have a sandwich." So both of us in Worldly office, we would have a sandwich every day. It was a sandwich is a simple thing, right? With kanda, tomato, onion, and chutney, green chutney, and with Amul butter. The server looks at me and says, "Bread." I said, "Yes." I said it very slowly with my eyebrows raised, both eyebrows raised. And I must confess, I was a bit disappointed. I had heard that from my friends in US that US believes in idiot-proof processes, and but surely this was a bit much. Of course, I wanted a bread sandwich. He raises his eyebrows, only one of them, and says slowly, "Which bread?" I said, "Which bread do you have?" I was mystified. Was I supposed to say the brand like Modern or Britannia? I got white bread, I got brown bread, I got rye, I got pita, I got pumpernickel, and the man spoke for a full minute listing some 20 odd varieties of bread. White bread. I didn't remember any other option other than white, and pumpernickel wasn't even bread. I mean, to my ears it sounded something like vaguely naughty. So I said, okay, white bread. Says cheese. I said, yes, I like cheese. Which cheese? Which ones do you have? I knew only of two cheeses, Britannia and Amul. And I was reasonably sure that he was not asking for either. And he didn't have any of them. He goes into it. I got cheddar, I got Swiss, I got feta, I got mozzarella, I got pepper jack, and again a huge list of different names. I jumped on it, Swiss. Because everyone knows Switzerland was famous even then for cheese, for banks, and location for Bollywood songs. It was not over. He says, meat. And I knew by now it was not a yes and no question. My shirt collar was wet, and in my mind the queue behind me had grown to a few hundred people. And everyone in the cafeteria was looking at me and smirking. What are these guys doing? The woman on the counter who was taking payments, a slightly large woman who looked like Whoopi Goldberg, was like staring at me with all respect. Are you going to come here and pay me or not? And I felt like I heard a shocked murmur pass through the whole cafeteria every time I said something. He had asked meat. So I said, sure. Which meat? And he had an expression of determined patience on his face. He knew he was going to overcome sometime this customer. And this time I didn't even have to say much. He said, I have chicken, beef, turkey, tuna salad, egg salad, and again a huge list of something. I used word association again. I said US, and I've read some American novels. Turkey. US and Turkey have something to do with each other. It became slightly easier after that. I nodded yes to pickle, which turned out to be a vegetable. Mayonnaise, yes. This sauce, yes. Mustard, yes. Yes, everything. Sandwich was ready. I wiped my sweat, moved with my sandwich to the payment counter. It was Rahul Singh's turn, and I heard him speak very clearly and very loudly. I will have what he had. Epilogue 1. It took me at least 2 weeks before I had the courage to change my order. Every day I would go to the counter and say, white bread, Swiss cheese, tuna, and just do everything else. Rahul Singh would say, I will have what he had. And I don't even like turkey, and I had that meat for some 15 days, and it was like really horrible. Time passed. And over a period of time, this became my story. Whenever I wanted to show off how far I had come in life, I would, kind of try to trot out this story, Look how unsophisticated I was. The subtext, wink, wink, was, I'm very different now. Kind of what I'm doing right now, So, a while ago, I was at a lunch with 2 friends. We were dining at Smokehouse Delhi, and the 3 of us had ordered stuff like Cambodian basa and peri peri chicken. So again, I'm doing that wink wink. So we got talking about how the restaurant scene in Mumbai had changed in the last 10 years. And one of my friends, one of the 2 friends, he starts telling us a story about how when he went to the US for the first time in late 90s, he had trouble ordering a sandwich. I'm like listening to him, and his story differed with mine by maybe 10 words, and I'm looking at him and, dude, you're stealing my story. And he, just to kind of mentally mess with me, he didn't know what he was doing, but ended the story with how he ate the same story for same sandwich for 3 months. And I'm like, okay, my story is also gone. So after a few minutes, this is epilogue 3 now. After a few minutes of resentful silence, I told my friend how his story had taken away a significant part of my life. How I realized that what I thought was a unique, I thought was unique about me was no longer so. My friend, with genuine pity in his eyes, told me that this story is so common that it happens to everyone who goes to the US for the first time. And it is so common that it has been also incorporated in a movie called English to English. A movie I have not seen and will never see in my life. Thank you very much.